Welcome to the TDK12 podcast. I'm here to help you navigate the exciting world of living overseas, being an expat, international teaching, and more. I was an expat living and working overseas from 2002 until 2019. After relocating, I decided I wanted to share information I had for those people who might be looking to go overseas and those people who are already overseas and looking to make a move. So join me for this podcast, and if you want to watch on YouTube, the podcast is on YouTube with some visuals. There are links both in the podcast show notes and on YouTube. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you like this. Let's get started. Today's podcast is about the tools and technology you need to get ready for job recruitment. The podcast after this, we're going to do a deeper dive into the process of what you need to do in terms of materials, what to do with those materials, what kind of documents you need to have ready, etc. But before you get there, you need to be able to make these materials. And unfortunately, a lot of people get weeded out early on because of their materials. I'm not going to get into the specifics of making a resume right now. We will get into that. And I will even recommend some methods you can use to help yourself. And over time, style changes. And if you have been working in the same job for a few years and you just try to use the same old resume, when you hit the market, you're going to find out that maybe your resume is really outdated in the way that it looks, or just in the way that you're presenting it, just in the layout. Working with the right tools and technology is really, really important. And I'm going to go through a few that everybody needs to look into. First off, most of your documents need to be processed out in PDF. I do not recommend anyone send a prospective employer a Word document. That is a mistake. Word documents can be manipulated by the person who opens them, and they can be manipulated accidentally. Let's say that you send a Word document and then someone opens it in Google Docs. Well, your formatting could be completely lost. Let's say that you send a Word document and you haven't sourced your images correctly. It could open up and your images will not show up, or they're going to just look bad the way that you've processed them or embedded them. I don't want to get too technical, but basically you want to remove variables, and sending a file that can be edited is a huge variable that you need to remove. So you want to make PDFs. Now, making PDFs in any software that you're going to be using is easy, but sometimes you are in a situation where an employer has asked you to upload a single document, and that document needs to contain your resume, maybe your certification, or something else. So the question is, how do you get all of your PDFs into a single PDF without spending any money? And the answer to that is PDF Merge. PDF Merge is a website. It is really easy to use. Just Google PDF Merge. It allows you to upload PDFs, and then it will create one PDF for you. Now, here's what's important. Make sure that the first PDF is the first page of the document and the last one is the last page. Also, after you download it, check the size. Sometimes the PDF Merge, because it's combining different types of PDF together, makes a very large file, and the websites you need to submit them through, the files are too big. If that happens, you need to work on PDF compression. So you would compress the PDF before you put it in PDF Merge. Go to Google or your favorite search engine, type PDF compression. There are websites that will let you upload your PDFs, and then when you download them, they're slightly smaller. Always check them to make sure that they look right, but normally it's fine. If you have an Apple, you can use the preview software. You can open your PDF up, and there are options when you save it to save it as a smaller PDF like file format. And you can play around with that till you find like kind of the optimal size. Another good tool for working with PDFs is Adobe Acrobat. Now, Adobe Acrobat DC, which is the newest version, works on Windows and Apple. I have it always, even if I have preview. Adobe Acrobat DC has a signature tool. So it will allow you to create a signature. It's like an electronic signature, and it's amazing for when you're filling out applications because if you have to also fill out an application, you can open it in Acrobat DC, fill it out. It will save very cleanly and neatly. It's a little bit better for preview when you're doing forms. And then you can just drop your signature on the document. You don't have to print it and sign it. So this is basically what you've done. You've taken their document, filled it out all electronically, signed it electronically, and sent it back. You don't have to fill it out, print it, sign it, scan it, and then send it back. So that really, really helps. On your phone, download and install Cam Scanner. Cam Scanner does have some ads. It can be a little annoying. It got some bad press recently for some spam that was going through it. But the free version of Cam Scanner is great. Cam Scanner will let you take any document that you do end up having to print, scan it with your phone, and it actually does an amazing job. It's better than most desktop scanners that people own. And you can share it right out of Cam Scanner to your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your Dropbox, or you can email it directly. So Cam Scanner is also another great tool to have. When you're actually making your resume, there are other tools besides Word and Google Docs. You can use Canva. Canva is a great platform for building resumes, but the layouts on Canva are nice, easy to work with. They're really, really beautiful in terms of like color and style, and you can download them as a PDF when you're done. And they look great. The resolution is correct. So you can create a decent high resolution document on Canva with very little knowledge. There's tons of tutorials on YouTube to teach you how to use Canva. Obviously, Grammarly. Free version, paid version, whatever. Use Grammarly for any writing. I know there's some other ones out there, but it's good. I think it's even better most of the time than what's built into Microsoft Office, which generally was the standard for most people. Go to Google or your favorite search engine and type online word counter. You will come up with a variety of websites that count words or characters. So maybe even type online character counter. A lot of application processes limit you to the number of words or characters. And you're like, wait, I'm submitting a Word document, or I'm submitting a letter and I can count it within my software. That's when you upload the document and they're checking the document that is correct. But a lot of schools have their own HR system. And in that HR system, it might want a brief bio. It might want a really brief version of your resume or your highlights. And they will have a limitation to what you can put in. So you want to make certain that you never go over that limitation, because as an HR person or a head of school or whoever's doing recruiting, that's checkbox number one for me. Can you follow basic instructions? Keep in mind, when you go over the word count or the character count, it's going to chop it off. You're not going to finish your thought. So it's important. Have that open in a tab. I have those open all the time when I'm doing job applications. I think they're a free, easy tool to use. I recommend that you also use some nice Google searching tips to find sample resumes. Now, I'm going to link this in the show notes so that everybody can see how it works. But here's the normal concept. And in this case, I need you to use google.com or google.ca if you're overseas. If you are in a non-English speaking country and you're listening to this, use google.ca. The Canadian version works, and it will keep you in the English speaking zone. And it's very important that you do this if you're applying for jobs where English is the main language. All right. You go to Google, and this is what you type. All one word, file type. FILETYPE colon PDF space resume, and then you hit enter. When you do that, you're going to get PDF samples of resumes, guides for writing resumes, etc. Then at the top, you click images, and you will get pages and pages of publicly available resume samples in PDF format that you can study. It is extremely helpful to study samples. You can get thousands of samples that way. The other thing you can do is do that search again, but instead of PDF, type docx. That's the extension for Word documents. You can download Word documents that people have put online and start editing them if you want. I am not encouraging you to rip off someone's content, but just study the layout. See if there's something that appeals to you. Just as an example, in my last job search, I had 4 separate resumes and 2 separate layouts. I built one layout, heavy in graphics, very modern and sleek. It looked amazing online, and it had a dark background, and it was very trendy. And I worked with a graphic designer to put that together. The other layout was cleaner and more classic, but it had some nice, cool features, like a QR code that you could use your phone on to jump to more information about me. Things that you need to avoid. You do not want to share your documents using links from Google Apps, OneDrive, Dropbox, unless it's absolutely required. You always want to default to attaching a file, and it should be a PDF, in my opinion, 100% PDF attachment. When you share links, again, you're adding another variable. What if they're at their job and for whatever reason their school's security system doesn't let your link work? What if they're in a country that blocks the service that you're using? You don't know. Again, why introduce a variable? Attach a PDF. That is the right size. That is a 100% guarantee that you have not made a mistake. Do not put an online resume on a website that is your full resume. You want any online version of your resume to be no more than a quarter page down. So what that means is if I'm looking at a normal formatted web page and I scroll, I only want to scroll about 25% of the length of the scroll bar on the right side. So you definitely don't want people going down and down and down. And you need to make it simple. If you have an online resume, highlights only, embed some links people can go to, connect to other content, but do not spend a lot of time building an online resume because you're going to be updating your resume often. You're going to make different versions of it. The stuff on the web page needs to be on every version of your resume, so it needs to be just the highlights, enough to get people interested and give them a way to contact you. Avoid large files. So if you have additional content to share, like videos or some type of curriculum that you've made, again, you need to make sure that those files that you're sharing are basically small enough to go into an email. If they have to be shared via links through a cloud service because they're too big, that's a mistake. Even YouTube channels can be risky. So if you have a YouTube channel and you cannot control the advertisement, or it's an official channel from your current job and you don't actually own it, I would recommend not using that as an option. That's all I have for this episode. We looked at technology and tools. I hope it was useful. Next episode, we're going to focus on looking at recruitment agencies so you can come up with a strategy for budgeting and signing up for those. And following that, we're going to get into the materials you need to create so you can actually apply and finish an application. Thank you, and don't forget to hit the like button and/or subscribe.